called in-game pick bans and picks.
Yep.
And I'll just be filling that out as it goes on, since you're not in the lobby, but I am.
Okay.
Which, is sad, but that's the way it is, and will be. For now, anyway. Okay, let me... Here we go. So, we've already got bans in here, because this is going a little faster than I had expected. There we go. But you came back just in time.
Awesome.
So, looking at this, it's going to be the first round of today's EpicGearCup number 8, which is a weekly tournament with €250 prize money for the winner only, so nobody else gets anything, sadly. Winner takes it all, and it should be pretty good. Most of the teams are challenger range. We've got the number 1 ranked challenger team in today as well, so that should be pretty cool, although they're only playing in the next round. We'll be watching them then. For now, it's Team Selfmade versus something I can't really say out loud on stream, so I'll just call them, I don't know, CITDF or something, because that's their tag. Because everything else is not okay. CITDF, or the red team, as I will probably call them most of the time.
Yeah, so we're waiting for the red team to go and pick their champion. We already got a Leona onto the blue team.
Which is an interesting pick as a first one, since, you know, there are so many other things open. The Morgana was banned out by them, so they're scared of that one, but for example, Thresh would still be around, Nami would still be around. There are a number of champions that lately have done pretty well against a Leona as well.
I think what this also shows from the blue team, it shows that they really want to go quite aggressive with their fans and their picks, because Morgana is a very defensive support, so they want to ban out that spell shield, so maybe Leona can go really quite aggressive in this early game. Fighting for the game. I'm gonna tell that in. Oh shit.
In the end, they do pick up Lucian and Kha'Zix, so those will be the 2 picks for the red team, and they'll try to bash in that bot lane. I mean, Lucian against Leona is a pretty interesting pick insofar as, you know, the weakness of Leona is always getting poked down early, not having enough HP to actually go in and pick the fight she wants. So Lucian, with all his early game burst and nice trading potential, actually has the ability to get her that load to the point where she can't really do it anymore. Kha'Zix, of course, one of the strong junglers, although after the most recent ultimate nerfs, not quite as powerful as he used to be anymore.
Yeah, going back to that Lucian, actually, I think the Lucian pick is really, really strong from the red team at the moment, because although the Ardent Blaze was only, I think it's 0.3 reduced on the AD ratio, he's still an amazingly good AD carry, early game, mid lane, and late game as well. This sort of counters the Leona pick. She wants to go aggressive, but Lucian can probably just bully her out of lane anyway.
So that will be interesting to see, and of course he will go down there into that bot lane with a Thresh. And Thresh is one of those guys with a Flay. He can still knock back that Leona as well when she does try to go in with a Zenith Blade, and at the same time, he's one of those supports that can be super aggressive as well. It's going to be down to Shyvana to win that top lane, and let Vi come down to the bot lane to compound her ultimate with Leona's in order to try and pick up a couple nice kills there. Trundle might be the pick here against the Shyvana. It's a matchup we've seen a couple times already.
Yeah, I think what we actually may be seeing in this game is Vi camping top early, because once you get that tower down for Shyvana, she becomes a huge pain for the opposite team. So maybe Vi will ignore bot for a while, try and get top going, and then try and go to the bot lane.
Exactly. So that might be an option here. We'll see what he actually does go for in the end. I've finally gotten the right overlay, so I can use this one now. Nice. And now let me do this one to hide the summoners, because that's on a separate file. There we go. Bam. Okay, cool. So we have Trundle and Thresh locked in on the red side, and I see I haven't given you all the picks lately. Either way, it is gonna be... Come on, Sven. Don't be so confused.
It is.
Vi, Caitlyn, and Kassadin, because he went out all the way to almost the last pick. And in the end, they do pick him up, and Zillion's being hovered right now. I can't imagine that one actually being picked, because as nice as he is, I don't think he can do well enough against a Kassadin in mid lane.
Yeah, I think maybe Zillion could still like support the aggressiveness of the Lucian, giving them speed and harassing Leona down as well. But I don't think it's a viable pick for them to be putting in the bot lane at the moment. He's quite squishy, and for the comp that the blue team are going for, I don't think that's the right thing to be picking there against those people.
Indeed. So it might be the Lux instead. Lux is one of those champions for mid lane especially that I thought should be coming back into power. The meta right now favors her extremely. Just being able to sit back, poke down with her spells, is something Lux loves to do. And it's definitely, right now with the decline of that permanent, super heavy assassin meta, it's something she's going to be able to do, because she is able to just sit back. Now in this game it'll be pretty dangerous, because there are actually a lot of threats that can get onto her. You have the Leona with the Solar Flare and the Zenith Blade. You have a Shyvana that can jump right into the backline. You have a Vi with Assault and Battery that can jump onto her, and a Kassadin. So not only will the Rift Walk always be able to get on top of her, but there's so many other things that can chase after her as well. So it's really going to be up to Lux being able to position herself and moving correctly. Of course, Trundle with a pillar will try to help that, but I'm not sure whether it can be enough in the late game.
I think the team comps at the moment are actually fairly even in where they are. No team comp seems to be a lot better than each other. I think they're both good at very different things. You got the Leona, Shyvana, and Vi, very good for team fighting, but at the same time, you've got Ka, Thresh, if he can land a good death sentence, and Lux with a perfect on-point ultimate can clearly turn away all that CC that the blue team possesses. So I think it's actually going to be quite a good skill matchup if it comes to the team fighting phase.
So team fights are going to be down to that. Now, we've only shortly touched on that top lane matchup. It is going to be Shyvana up against a Trundle, and it can be a fight with like foam swords where they just bash each other's heads in, but nothing happens. Or it's actually kind of an explosive matchup where both of those top laners just try to get the better of one another and just keep pushing until one of them dies due to a jungler gank or losing a trade. And then they'll go back to base, teleport back to the top lane, or just walk up there and push it again. It's really going to come down to the team fights when they can use the teleport to join their team at the most impactful and effective time to try and turn a fight around. Because otherwise, I think Trundle will outscale Shyvana, especially on the top lane push battle, since he can just steal her stats.
Most definitely. But if you think about that, Trundle can also be used in the middle lane in team fighting, and probably can roam to the bot lane and be more successful than a Shyvana, with Shyvana's lack of CC apart from her ultimate. So I think the build Shyvana needs to be going for right now maybe is a Sunfight Cape, get a Ravenous Hydra, and then continue to split push and just be a huge pain for the jungler. And if she can pull off this Shyvana and attract as much attention as possible, then that could be an easy win for the blue team, because if anything goes wrong and she runs teleport, she can just get out of there straight away and continue to apply pressure.
So we've got a little over a minute left on that spectator delay before we finally do get into the game. It is, of course, going to be Team Selfmade up against CITDF-G, I do believe it is. Or no, CITDF. That's it. CITDF. And we will be watching them. It is going to be Trundle versus Shyvana up top, and Kha'Zix versus Vi in the jungle. Mid lane will be battled out between a Lux and a Kassadin, and on bot lane it's going to be Caitlyn Leona trying to outfight the Thresh Lucian. So it should be a pretty interesting game. Now, jungle. Kha'Zix is someone who's extremely good at killing the enemy jungler in that person's own jungle, just because of the isolation damage. But Vi is someone who's a strong early duelist, and also can have a lot of early impact on the lane. So how do you think, especially for the first 5 to 10 minutes, how the jungle game will play out here?
I think most definitely Kha'Zix is going to be focusing on the bot lane. I don't think it's in his best interest to be counter jungling, because a Leona and Caitlyn are quite near to where Vi's going to be, whereas I don't think Lucian and Lux can get there just as close. I don't think he's going to be the one counter jungling. I think he's going to be going to bot lane to continue to apply pressure, and Vi is going to be going to top lane. So I think they're probably not going to interact for the first 10 minutes of the game until something happens between the actual team, because I think they're going to be concentrating their pressure onto two different completely sides of the map. Completely different sides of the map.
Okay, so we are now on the loading screen. And
indeed we are.
In just a second. Stream's still black. Ah, there we go. See? Because I only just got the overlays I am allowed to use. Still a bit slow on that. Still a bit slow. Can't I use the other image as well as an added overlay for a scoreboard? Or I could probably just use the CLR browser for that. Never mind. Anyway, we are on the loading screen. Thresh Lucian against Leona Caitlyn. Leona will keep trying to fight that one, because she wants to make her presence felt. She wants to use the crowd control that she brings to that lane in order to grab an advantage and then help Caitlyn get so far ahead that Lucian cannot even duel her anymore, despite all his power. It's not going to be easy, because with Thresh there, Thresh has just as much power, and if Thresh lands the hook onto Caitlyn, the entire lane could go the exact opposite way. It's going to be, both of these supports will try to land their skill shot, and whoever misses his will put his own lane at a disadvantage for about, well, 13 seconds until his skill shot comes up again. So, really, the time to look for action on the bot lane will be when the Zenith Blade or the Death Sentence miss. Because then the other one can just say, now is my time to go in.
I also think that the lane is slightly in favor of Bloodwork at the moment, because if you see the way that Bloodwork has been playing in solo queue, he plays a lot of Lucian, and he's going up against the Lucian. So maybe he has the knowledge advantage over the Lucian that he's playing against. He knows how to play against the matchup. He's probably quite experienced with it. He's got up to gold using Lucian. I mean, I know that's not quite high, but still, he's been constantly playing that champion just to get up to a certain division. So he's obviously gained quite a lot of knowledge over time. So this could be very interesting, seeing how Bloodwork manages to play through the bot lane.
So we have just... if this works for the teams. No, it does not quite yet. I need to fit you to screen and then modify the width. 1280. There we go. Come on. Position and size. Fit. It's a tiny bit too big right now. Oh well. Tough luck. Tough luck.
We see Vi going in. Actually, Thresh is in the bush right now. They've spotted Thresh. That's forcing a flash through the Thresh. So that actually means that the lane is even more in Bloodwork's favor right now. So it means the Thresh cannot be as aggressive as usual. Seems that the blue team is actually going back to their own jungle. They forced a flash. They decide that's enough. Yeah, that's satisfied themselves. We have no lane swaps. We have the normal lane. Shyvana going top against the Trundle, and the two bot lanes together.
Which is kind of interesting. With the setup they're running, they could have easily pulled off a lane swap, and either team could have really gone for that, because both Shyvana and Trundle are pretty okay at playing a 1v2. Now, for the blue team, it would have been a little bit less beneficial, because Leona is actually pretty useless under an enemy tower. She just sits there and can't really do anything, because as soon as she walks up to the tower, she's in huge danger herself. You know, you never want to stand underneath an enemy tower as a melee champion. On the other hand, we have Thresh, who is able to auto-attack from far, so he would actually be able to do more damage to the tower. But lane swaps, in general, are initiated by the blue side team. So in this case, with blue side having the weaker lane swap team, they decide not to, and in the end, everything is just normal. Aside from a longsword start on Lucian, actually. He's not going for that Norn's Blade that we usually see. Instead, going for a little bit more attack damage, and of course, that will really accelerate his build towards the Vamp Scepter, at least a little bit.
He seems to be going good for that Bamsitter very, very early. I mean, I think that's probably not a good decision from him, because the Doran's Blade in 4.10 still gives you quite a bit of life still, and the health is still there from the Doran's Blade. 70 health, that could change over a fight early game. So I don't think that the longsword buy is particularly in his favour, but he does have the constant shields from Thresh, which could help him in the fight and make up for that health. We just have to wait and see how the fights go.
And at the same time, of course, he was able to pick up 3 potions with that, so he's able to sustain a little bit better with that as well. And I mean, the 3 attack damage between those two don't really make a big impact here for either side. So I don't think we'll have to worry about that one. But as you said, I mean, there are just a couple of drawbacks to the longsword rather than the Doran's Blade, but of course it does get him ahead in the build, at least a tiny bit. And in the end, however little ahead you get, can make all the difference. Especially these days with Bloodthirster not being as cost-effective anymore. Or rather, basically, it is still cost-effective for the stats it gives, but compared to a Blade of the Ruined King, it's just nowhere close. And Caitlyn is someone who can work with the Blade of the Ruined King much more effectively than Lucian can, simply due to the way the champion works and the way attack speed benefits are.
Yeah, I think another thing we need to actually put light on in the bot lane is the choice of runes that the people have gone for. I think that actually the main reason that Lucian has gone for these pots, which I've just noticed, is because if you see his AD, he's obviously gone for a flat AD page, but it's actually Leona going into the Thresh. The Vi's coming to the bot lane, the Flay landing on to Leona, but this should be a dead Thresh. The damage still coming through. The red buff has been applied. The flash from Bloodwork securing that kill. Lucian still trying to poke them away, but that's actually quite a silly move from the purple team. Thresh could have easily got out of there, but he decided to try and flay them away. But he flayed them towards him instead of pushing them away, which was not the best decision to have made.
Don't think he expected the Vi there right away, and in the end he didn't have a flash anymore, and then just resigned himself to his fate after getting exhausted. It was a very good exhaust from Leona, and then a really good flash from Caitlyn in the end to secure that kill. So, early advantage over to the blue team. It's only 500 gold, so nothing major or massive here just yet. And, until further notice, the two teams will just keep fighting peacefully. I mean, we're only 5 minutes in, it's only a kill. It's on a Caitlyn, which is nice, but it's not as devastating as if it was, I don't know, on a Vayne or on that Kassadin, who would just start to snowball himself farther and farther ahead.
I think the other thing that we need to draw light to in the mid lane is the heal coming from Lux, actually. It shows that she's probably going to be staying back in the team fights, not going for any aggressive plays, just staying back, using Hurry and her ultimate to just continuously use some long-range damage. So this shows quite a defensive Lux, but she is still pushing the lane, and this could screw her over if Vi manages to come from the side.
So Vi's sitting around the mid lane again. She
and
wants
the laugh
the
coming
gank.
out from Lux.
In the end, Lux stays safe. Lux is just sitting in that mid lane, and Vi decides to try her luck in top lane instead. Farm, up until now, pretty even across all lanes. I mean, we have an 8 CS difference in the mid lane, even though the wave is pushing towards Lux, so she's going to be able to sit at the tower and farm for a bit. Kha'Zix's coming in.
But in the mid lane, Kha'Zix using his things. The isolation damage is still not coming out. The flash being forced on Kassadin. Kha'Zix uses his jump, but Kassadin's still getting away. The tower is putting the damage onto Kassadin. The ignite as well as Kassadin's damage and burst, and that's just doing a 1-for-1. Not the best gank from Kha'Zix. Burning his flash. And it still did burn Kha'Zix's flash, but I think the flash on the jungler is still a lot more important than the mid laner's flash. But here comes Vi, the snare coming from Lux. Vi's just having to back away. She cannot use too much damage, and she's just going to back away and return to her jungle.
Yeah, speaking of the value of flashes, especially... Oh, that ultimate did a little bit of damage, nothing too major though. The flash on a Kassadin especially is not that valuable, because he will always have that Rift Walk to get himself around the map anyway. And in the end, that was just Kha'Zix being a little bit overzealous, went really far forward, tried to force the kill basically, while Lux could have just free-farmed the lane instead, which in the end she did too, pushed it to the enemy tower, is now almost even in CS again. Will be able to recall and spend that gold that she got from the assist and the next couple of CS. Actually stopped from the recall for now. But Kassadin bought himself the Catalyst, so he's going to go towards the Rod of Ages and then the nice scaling ramping build, whereas Caitlyn already has that BF sword, compared to only the Vam Scepter on Lucian. So bot lane, with a kill there as well, definitely so far going in favor of the blue team.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. But I think at the same time, the items are still sort of, even apart from the bottom lane, this is still anyone's game. But the bottom lane, Lucian is so far behind from Caitlyn. The damage that she's putting out, she also has lifesteal runes, so she doesn't really need to rush that Vampiric Scepter. The E coming from Leona and stunning onto Thresh. He's trying to flay Leona away, but the damage is so much from Caitlyn. They decide not to go for it, and they're just backing away. But the poke from Caitlyn can really, really hardly bully these people out the lane. Hardly bully the people out the lane hard. My bad.
I mean, when you have the enemy Thresh at about a quarter of his HP, he has to be really, really careful where he goes in a lane like that, because once that ace in the hole comes up, just now did, it could be dangerous. That
the death sentence actually coming in onto Leona. The culling still putting lots of damage onto Leona, but just missing. Thresh having to back away, and here comes the assault and battery onto Thresh, as well as the ace in the hole, securing that kill for Caitlyn. Nothing really actually happening in the top lane at the moment. They seem to be just farming. Only a 2 CS lead from Trundle, so it's actually not that big. Nothing really too special happening. It seems that a lot of the focus from the jungler is staying around the bottom side of the map. And speaking of the bottom side of the map, Vi is still going for the dragon. Kha'Zix is circling around on the edge. Lucian is there to support, but I don't think they want to go into this. This would be a very stupid move if they do. Kha'Zix getting very close. Lucian being caught in the trap, but Caitlyn still backing off. Piercing Light not doing anything, as well as the ultimate from Lux. And that's actually not getting any kills. No kills has been done, but the death sentence missing from Thresh. Kassadin circling on the outside. Lots of damage coming from Caitlyn. The Rift Walk coming in. Vi now going aggressive onto Lucian. The Rift buff is still applied. The burn may not still manage to do the damage. No, he's just escaped. May see if Caitlyn can land the Piltover's Peacemaker.
Piltover Peacemakers, but that was awful. That was a triple kill for Caitlyn. She's now 5-0-0. Not only did Vi come into the bot lane for a repeat perfect gank, where she picked up the second kill, no, now that dragon fight happened as well, and yes, the red team tried to contest it, but they were slow. They were hesitant. They did not go in when they had the chance, when Leona was really low, tanking that dragon forever and a day. And in the end, they let Kassadin come around the corner.
Kassadin rift walking into Lux at the moment in the mid lane. Lux having actually to snare Kassadin in a way. He's taking aggro from the minions, and actually he's just deciding to back off. But this actually does show how Lux can just still stay very defensive and still come actually ahead on the fights in the middle lane.
She is currently 7 CS behind though, and with Kassadin being 1-0-1.
The ultimate coming from Lux, actually stealing the blue buff, I believe.
Did she manage?
Yes, she managed to get the blue buff using her ultimate.
No, she didn't.
Wait, who's got it?
Kassadin. Kassadin does.
Oh,
yeah, she was a bit late on that one. It was a very nice try, but in the end, she didn't quite manage to get it. Whatever I wanted to say, Kassadin with 1-0-1, 1-1-1 is a force to be reckoned with. He's building a Rod of Ages. That means he's only going to get stronger. There's a 5-0-0 Caitlyn on the map that you already have to deal with. She's just gotten her Infinity Edge on her second back in the game. She's 20 CS up on her opposition. Like, this game right now is super hard for the red team, and it's not about to get any easier.
Yeah, it most certainly will not get any easier for the red team. As soon as Kassadin manages to get that Rod of Ages, he's not that far off actually. Almost on 1600 gold. This could be very, very messy for the opposite team. But the bot lane, actually, Lucian's still pushing up the lane. Something he really does not want to be doing. He hasn't tried to do anything with the minions. He hasn't tried to freeze it. He's just still pushing the lane, which I don't think is the best thing to be doing, because Vi can easily come through the tri-brush. And it seems that even though it has been warded, they haven't paid too much attention in the past.
Vi has been down there twice, and twice it resulted in a kill both times onto that Thresh as well. And now Caitlyn is 2,000 gold ahead of her enemy laner after just 12 minutes in this game. That's not where you want to be, and right now, with almost 3,000 gold in the blue team's favor, they can just walk around the map doing everything. We can see that trade going so heavily into Kassadin's favor that it's barely even funny. And I mean, Trundle is building a Trinity Force, but until he's really powerful, it will still take a long time, and we see how heavily the rest of the map is dominated by the blue team right now.
Most definitely, but something I want to bring up is the blue team's warding. Look at the warding from the blue team. You've got a ward in the tri-brush, as well as the purple team, I will give them that. But they have a pink ward in their red brush, so that's most definitely secure. They have a ward in the brush for the bottom lane. The ward for the brush just entering the purple jungle has just been expired. And they have another ward in the mid lane, as well as a pink ward in the top lane. Blue team are definitely not winning the warding game right now. But I think a reason for that is they don't have the gold to spend on wards at the moment. They need to be getting their core items, which no one's really completed apart from Kha'Zix, who's the jungler, and he can't really use those core items because everywhere's warded.
Everything is warded, but that's exactly the problem you have when you fall behind as a team. You need to spend that money, even if you don't really have it. You need to take it out of your budget, because otherwise, all that will happen is you'll fall farther and farther behind, get completely choked of any further gold income, and the noose will slowly but surely tighten around your neck, and you'll just die. Because Vi is such a heavy jungler, and she's back in top lane to try and pick up yet another kill. Luckily, spotted out by a ward there in that bush. Kha'Zix was looking to move towards top lane, so this time around it's not a kill for blue, but Vi is 0-0-5. She's been the playmaker this game.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Kha'Zix actually trying to go around down the top lane, but he hasn't realized there's a pink ward there yet. So, no impact can be had. Oh, shit.
Through the tower with the ace in the hole. Nicely done there, and now they're still diving. He's also
Caitlyn's
though.
taking aggro, and that's just an easy double kill for Caitlyn. No effort really required. They just had to go past the tower and still output loads of damage with that Infinity Edge at 14 minutes, which is pretty ridiculous.
It's just not something they can currently deal with. The mid lane was a very, very close fight. Ignite and heal burn from both of the mid laners, but both of them get away with their lives. And of course, Kha'Zix uses ultimate just to get up to top lane quicker in order to thwart the dive there to support his Trundle, because otherwise he would have gone down as well. Right now, the entire map is so ridiculously in favor of the blue team that Trundle had to teleport down bottom lane, and he's now getting annihilated as well.
Yeah, teleport being used for nothing, really. I mean, he's managed to defend the tower, but it wasn't really that low on HP in the first place. Seeing if Trundle wants to still go aggressive, I don't think he should be. He's going to try and back off now. Kha'Zix still holding the top lane for Trundle, getting some of that minion XP, which I don't think he can complain about. Vi actually ganking the mid lane, just a clutch play onto that Lux. And Kassadin escaping on only 200 health, with walking away, but it seems like he wants to stay in the lane to get that extra CS. No, he's going to back. Actually, Vi now returning to the bottom lane. Leona has used the flare. The tower aggro still going onto Fresh. The red buff has been applied. I don't think Vi can catch up to that.
Nah, but she doesn't even need to. That was another kill, and Kassadin was able to stick around in mid for a bit longer, because they knew Kha'Zix was top, Lux was dead, and the other three were trying to push bot, which in the end goes wrong as well. At this point, blue team is just so ridiculously far ahead that no matter what the red team does, they're going to lose the fight. Like, all blue team has to do is pick the fight. And they're able to do that because they have the Leona, they have a Vi, they have two very, very heavy engage abilities, and that will really facilitate this snowball here for them. We're only 16 minutes in, and already I don't think there's much that the red team could ever do in this game to still try and come back. Because Lucian, yes, he's strong, but he's never going to be as strong as a 7-0-1 Caitlyn after just 16 minutes. Yes, Kha'Zix is a powerful jungler, but on the other side there's a Vi that's 2-0-5, and when a Vi is ahead, that's when she's really, really scary. There's a Kassadin, who becomes such a late-game monster as well on the side of the blue team, and a Shyvana. Like, what more do you want in a team?
Yeah, it seems to be the perfect team right now. Lots of CC, and as we were saying before, if the purple team can output the damage to negate the CC, I don't think they can right now. Not the best scores from most of the people on the team.
So, what's going on? In this game, we've got 30 CS difference between the 80 carries. We've got about 10 in the mid lane, so that one's at least still pretty even. Lux could be the hope here for the red team.
Could
so
be.
So far it's not worked out because the one time around
Leona engaging onto Kha'Zix in the bottom lane.
Good
Kha'Zix
flash.
just flashing away from the ultimate. The ace in the hole actually not doing enough damage onto Kha'Zix, just narrowly escaping that Caitlyn damage. It's a shame that Vi didn't use the assault and battery, but just managing to escape. And this actually secures them a dragon.
Exactly. They forced the enemy jungler off of the dragon once again. That's going to make it 2-0 on that objective. And please, Thresh and Lucian are moving towards the dragon. But this time around, don't do that to your team. Don't just die for free. Because last time, that's really where this game was lost. That triple kill for the Caitlyn is what sealed the deal on this game. If that hadn't happened, if they had just given up the dragon and backed off, I'm pretty sure the red team would still have a very, very good chance in this game.
I think something else that we bring up at the start of the game is Bloodwork. Caitlyn's knowledge of Lucian plays a lot of Lucian in solo queue, and I think that's actually really helped her in this lane, knowing what Lucian's thinking, knowing what he's probably going to be doing. But actually, Kha'Zix now engaging into the bottom lane. The death sentence not landing. That's an ultimate use from Kha'Zix for nothing, really. And although he is trying to apply pressure, he's just going to be poked away from Caitlyn's damage. Lots and lots of damage coming out from this Caitlyn right now.
We saw Trundle try to put on the pressure with his ultimate up top. Bot lane is kind of dangerous. Lucian steps onto the trap, takes a little bit of damage. Vi is at her own red buff, so she could come over to that bot lane very, very quickly. And of course, Shyvana would have a teleport as well. She is pretty low, so I don't think she'll do that. This right now is definitely critical. In the end, Vi is behind the enemy team. This is going to be another fight.
Doesn't manage to get the knock-up and just being flayed away from Fresh. Assault and Battery coming onto Kha'Zix. Leona not using any other CC, just securing that mini-stun onto Kha'Zix. Now Vi focusing pressure on to Lucian. The teleport coming down from Trundle. He's flashing in, putting all that damage onto Vi. The Bilgewater Cutlass putting lots of damage. Can Vi escape? Yes, she can, managing to queue away. Caitlyn is still at the back, not being able to come from because of the boxes. Trundle is now trying to run towards Caitlyn. She's just circling around the tri-brush, but there is a ward there. But no, it's just placing a trap and probably managing just to escape away. Very good teleport from Trundle. Actually sort of turning around that fight. But as this happens, Lux is being caught out by that Kassadin. And lots of damage coming from Kassadin. And Caitlyn securing that assist. The ace in the hole actually going onto Trundle, but not too much damage being taken by him. I think Trundle is actually a hope, but not really, because Shyvana can just continue to push the lane and be a real pain.
Exactly. Trundle went down there to bot lane. In the end, they traded the outer towers from top and bottom. At least the red team got a kill this time around, but even that went for a 1-to-1 trade. Kassadin right now, oh, nice one with the Riftwalk and Flash, gets himself to safety. But that's what the blue team needs to do right now. They need to spread out the gold on their team. They have a 3-0-5 Vi. They've got that 7-0-3 Caitlyn. And those two shouldn't pick up any more kills. Instead, just get the assists and give the main gold to Kassadin and possibly Shyvana, so that everyone on the team is just super far ahead of their enemies. Because if everyone's fed...
The engage actually going in onto Thresh in the middle lane. The ultimate coming from Shyvana and Leona at the same time being deleted. Thresh is just being completely deleted. And I don't think Lucian really wants to go in. Kassadin walking in, putting in quite a fair amount of damage, but what we actually wanted to bring attention to was around 2 minutes ago, Shyvana went into the enemy jungle and just managed to take that red buff. And this is really good because they're continuously applying pressure onto the objectives, onto the lanes, and this is actually being perfectly played by the blue team. Actually, another engage coming from Leona. Ace in the hole landing onto Lux, probably not enough damage. Lux trying to push away using her abilities, and this actually means that maybe the blue team can try and push the middle tower. Let's see. Right no, now. But Lux is just clear.
Yeah, right. So Lux at least has a decent amount of wave clear. She's building towards the death cap after getting the chalice for extra mana regeneration, but I don't think even that will be enough. Yes, she starts doing a little bit of damage finally, but it's never going to be enough against that Kassadin, who's already got not only the Rod of Ages, but also the needlessly large rod. We have a Blade of the Ruined King and a Sunfire Cape for top lane. We've got Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancers on that AD carry. It's just, the advantage is overwhelming. It's over 7,000 gold after not even 22 minutes. And even though it's only 1-to-1 in towers, it feels like the entire map is owned by the blue team.
Yeah, I think actually the main thing that the red team should not be doing right now is grouping up. But it's actually sort of working for them right now because they're keeping Caitlyn and Kassadin in the mid lane, and look at that wave in the bottom lane. That's been quite a slow push, has just started to gain momentum, and that actually could result in a tower if no one gets there in time. A pause coming out from the game. So let's actually go over what's been happening at this moment in time. Kassadin and Vi and Caitlyn are just staying in the mid lane, trying to protect that tower. But at the same time, Shyvana is in the top lane, pushing this lane. Trundle's possibly just managing to come up. But I think Shyvana, at this moment in time, can probably 1v1 Trundle. So that's still loads of pressure coming from Shyvana. But I think it's actually doing quite well played from the red team because they're staying mid and they're allowing the bot lane to be pushed. And if they can just pressure down this mid turret whilst the bottom lane continues to push, this could be a very good move for them.
So, pause has been lifted. We're back into the game. And right now, the push on that mid lane continues. Trundle has to go up top to deal with Shyvana, and that bot lane wave is still being left alone. This tower in mid lane will definitely not survive. So finally, that's a tower advantage over to red team. Ironically, despite being so far behind, the push hasn't been there for the blue team just yet, but here comes Engage.
Yes, the ultimate coming from Leona. Nothing really following up so far. The Assault and Battery coming onto Lux. Lots of damage actually coming from that Vi, but he's now being focused down. Shyvana ultimating into the fight. Now let's see if Kassadin can riff walk onto more members of the team. Ace in the hole coming from Caitlyn, destroying that Kha'Zix. Now Shyvana is under tower. Let's see if Lux can just manage to get away. The riff walk coming from Kassadin, deleting this Lux. Now Trundle is trying to put lots of damage onto this Kassadin. Taking her out. The slow from the pillar is really, really real, but now she's being cornered. He probably can't escape, so maybe he can turn this around. He could easily turn this around right now onto Shyvana. Yes, he puts down his W, but no, he still can't do anything. Backing away, and he's going to circle around to this mid tower. This is probably actually a tower for the blue team still.
It should definitely down. They have the next minion wave coming in, but that is how you play a split push. You stay top lane until the enemy top laner comes over to you, and then you move to the rest of your team that then try to fight. And it was perfectly executed. Shyvana was there at the exact right time without even using the teleport. Trundle didn't have us, couldn't join the fight. Easy team fight win once again for the blue team because they're not only far ahead, but also had the perfect play on that situation. So, once more advantages gained by the blue team. It's now 2-2 in towers, and they've done a lot of damage on mid. Shyvana,
but actually, Trundle engaging actually in the top. Trundle can't actually do anything at the moment. He does have his flash, but he has nothing really to do anything. I don't think he wants to flash onto this. No, but he's taking tower aggro. He's still putting down his W. Shyvana kiting around, using her ultimate. Caitlyn getting another kill in the mid lane. Ace in the hole, going on to Lucian. It seems like Leona still wants to chase this. She does have her ult, but no, they're just going to continue to push the lane. And I think something we need to remember is that Shyvana still does have the teleport, so she can probably go back to the top lane and just teleport into the fight when she's needed.
So
Caitlyn coming from Lucian.
Always there. Oh my god,
almost killed.
It's just so devastating. Who can deal with him right now? Nobody really, and it's the problem that it's not only Kassadin, it's also Shyvana, it's also Vi, it's also Caitlyn. And Leona's just so tanky, she can just stand there and eat all the damage from Lucian with that Trinity Force and the Vamp Scepter, and not even care. Like, she doesn't actually take any damage. And right now, the blue team's gonna get Dragon number 3 and just slow push this game to an end. At this point, it's really just waiting for the bitter end to come around.
Yeah, I think actually what the red team, the blue team needs to do to just secure this win is keep Shyvana top, group up mid, push in the mid lane, force Trundle to come top, and then Shyvana can just TP into the middle lane and they can push extremely hard and most likely win the game off that move. But now they're just waiting, getting their items, and this next play and team fight will probably be the game-winning fight.
It could be. Right now, I mean, Caitlyn is so good at killing towers, and she's just picked up the last Whisper as well. Then we've got a Vi, who's not only got the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, but also a Trinity Force. Those two alone can kill towers really quickly. And then there's still a Shyvana with the Blade of the Ruin King. Like, what can stop these three guys from simply walking down the mid lane and taking out the tower? There's not really anything that could deter them if they do put their minds to it. Right now, the only reason this game is still going is because the blue team is a little bit uncoordinated and a little bit all over the place. So once they do group up, as you said, keep Shyvana top lane, the rest of the four go into a different lane and shove that all the way down. This should be a fairly easy win. We have some slight positioning around Baron, but it would actually surprise me if they do decide to go for that. Instead, they can just fight once more.
The ultimate coming from Leona, not missing Harry, but the ace in the hole just destroying Kha'Zix being caught out. It seems that Kassadin maybe wants to put his focus onto the Thresh. Rift walking in, using his Q damage and his auto attack damage, and still lots of damage coming out from Kassadin. A complete monster right
and
now.
that's 2 kills already happening, and here goes Trundle as the next one. Leona wants more, and now with 5 man in the mid lane, 5 versus 3, they should at least get a little bit of damage on the inhib tower, but it's still so early in the game. Kha'Zix is already almost back alive.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how well Blue Team is doing right now. They seem to be just farming champions, killing them, waiting for them to come back alive, and then just getting another kill. They don't even need CS, they just need to farm these champions.
13,000 gold separating these two teams. Actually 12,000 gold. It's 4-2 in towers. We're not even 28 minutes into the game. You know, the only upside is that people like Thresh, 0 and 8, not having the best of games, aren't worth as much anymore. He's not going to give as much gold over to the enemy team if he does go down for a change. But as it stands right now, probably have another 10 minutes of game time here before the blue team does finally take it. Trundle right now putting a lot of effort onto Shyvana, but
forcing the ult.
I mean, yes, he forces the ult, but what does that do? Shyvana ult has a short cooldown, or rather regenerates really, really quickly, and then she'll just be back. All she does is push top lane anyway.
And she still does quite a lot of damage anyway in non-dragon form, so she's doing pretty well for herself.
Precisely. So there are quite a few issues in this game right now that I don't think the red team quite know how to fix. And neither do I, really. I don't have many things for them to say to them right now, because 60 CS difference in the AD carry position in itself is already devastating. Then add 10 kills on top of that. I don't know what they can do. The red team has to keep vision of especially the top half of their own jungle. That's the only way they can still hold on to anything. But this death bush trap that's being attempted here by the blue team is pretty sneaky. I really would not like for anything. Oh no, they're checking.
Here comes Trundle.
Why?
And the E coming in, Vi using lots of damage and just being deleted. It now seems they still want to go really aggressive. Vi still has the assault and battery, it just depends who wants to put it on. They're putting it onto the 1 and 8 Thresh. And now Vi still charging up her Q. It hits onto Kha'Zix, who having to leap away, but now they can just continue to push mid. Shyvana is pushing top. This is probably a top tower and a mid tower. But Kassadin being sniped by Lux.
Yeah,
nice ult.
At this point, there's not really anything you could have done to stop the blue team from going for Baron. So it was a bad idea to even try and check it. Instead, what the red team needs to do is try and keep vision outside of the immediate surroundings of their base and turtle. They just need to wait it out until this gold difference doesn't matter as much anymore. They have a lot of minions to just farm, and they're not tanky enough. We have a Trinity Force on Trundle, plus the Blade of the Rune King. Blizzard and a Vamp Scepter. Thresh only has the Ruby Sightstone as a tank on it. Like, it's not enough. They're not able to survive any of the damage that's coming out from the blue team, despite blue team having such a nice, good burst team as well. It's just suboptimal builds combined with bad positioning and bad decision making right now that's putting the red team this far behind and just really taking all opportunities of ever trying to come back in this game right now.
Yeah, I don't think any sign of the red team being able to take this back is in near sight. I think they're trying to just push this wave, but Shyvana can just eat it all up, getting all that CS. 253 CS. That's a lot of gold. She's got herself over 10k gold now this game, and Caitlyn 1106. That is ridiculous. Yeah, she's earned herself quite a lot throughout this game, just getting all those kills.
Yep, I'd like to have her on my fantasy team right now because let me calculate this real quick. She got 1 triple kill, she's got 11 kills, so that's 22 plus a triple kill is an extra 3 points, I believe.
Lots of points.
That's 25 on its own. 6 kills, that's an extra 9 points again as well. So where was I? I was at 25, that's 34 points. Plus, almost, let's round it up to 3 for CS. Good god!
Mm.
And not died once. So yep.
And I thought having Jahr was good on my team.
Right? Or the 66 points per week Kraton when he does have his nice weeks. Nothing compared to this guy.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Bloodwork is doing insane work right now. Someone get him an LCS
Bloody
contract.
Bloody
Oh, damn.
Oh, snap. Nope.
Smooth.
That just happened.
That did happen. What else is happening is on the top lane, Trundle is going really aggressive onto Shyvana and just forcing another roll away from her. But it really doesn't matter, because she's just going to go return back into the top lane. Lots of damage actually going on to Trundle, but maybe he can turn this around. He's outputting lots and lots of damage. He's used his Blade and Throne King. I don't think he's going to want to trace this and chase it. But Vi is there. She does have Assault on Battery. Is this going to come out? No, I don't think it is. That health regen was pretty ridiculous from Trundle still. But he has played very well this game.
Trundle has tried his best. He's only 2-1-0. He's not feeding. Let's put it that way. Which is good.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's not what his team needs him to be. He's not tanky. He built the Trinity Force, a second damage item, rather than going for something like a Sunfire Cape, like a Randuin's Omen. I mean, come on, man. You're up against a Shyvana and a super fed Caitlyn, plus a Kassadin. Your team doesn't have a tank. You need to be a frontline. And that's not what Trundle is doing. So yes, he's doing well, and that's why he's winning the trades against Shyvana. But at the same time, his team is losing because they don't have a tank line. And it's always something you have to balance in a game. What you want to do and what your team needs you to do. So that's going to be the bottom inner turret falling as well. Nothing can stop Shyvana from that one. And slowly but surely, the blue team is closing in on the win here. Nice hook.
But actually, the death sentence is coming in, but Leona still focusing her damage on Solution. Actually, quite a lot of damage. Tanking this up. Vi is still there. Assault and Battery has been used. The culling still coming onto Vi, but she doesn't care. She's taking that tower aggro. Trundle still in the back lines being completely destroyed by Caitlyn, no matter what he's done. But he actually hasn't built any armor this game. Not the best choice. A triple kill from Lux. And just being dodged by Kassadin. That ultimate from Lux, it's not going to be enough. They're going to continue to push the lane. This is probably GG. Continuing just to push down the mid tower. An inhib will probably be easy with Caitlyn's damage. Top lane is pushing, but I don't think that really matters. No, they are backing off. This could be a Baron, actually, that they need to be doing if they want to head straight to Baron and just clear that top wave and go straight back through the mid.
I'd much prefer for the blue team to just go home once and then go for the Baron, because that Lux ultimate is not far from being up again.
Yeah.
And it could be quite painful when they're all bunched up like that. So I approve of what they're doing right now, going home, spending the extra gold. They did get the inhibitor after another beautiful 2-0 fight. 3-0 actually, because Lucian took so much pain from that ace in the hole. It really chunked him heavily. And in the end, that makes it 25-4. Now 35 minutes. You know, after 15 minutes into this game, I thought it was going to be a 20-minute game. That was going to be over right then. By now we've got to 35 minutes. The longer this game is going, I'd almost want to say the better the chances for the red team to come back. But the goal lead at this point is at 18,000. It's not shrinking at all. It's ever growing. And it's... You have that kind of mark where you say a 20% gold lead, where you have 20% more gold than the enemy team. It's quite a force to be reckoned with. Right now, it's close to 33%. And that's not something the red team could ever deal with, wants to deal with. And the problem is they're not able to keep the gold lead at the same flat value, but instead it's ever increasing, and that's going to make it really, really hard for them, because the Baron is now on the table for the blue team. They're not going to hesitate once they do see an opening.
I think they're still just really, really far ahead. They're just continuing to apply constant pressure onto the red team. And there's nothing the red team can really do. Lucian even struggling with these super minions. And now the blue team are grouping up into this bush. Maybe they want to be going for a cheeky snipe. Trundle is now face checking again. Leona putting the mini stun onto Trundle, forcing a flash in the way. Ace in the hole still going onto Trundle. The culling now going onto Shyvana, but no damage is really taken. Death sentence on to Kassadin, flashing and rift walking away. Now lots of damage coming through. Caitlyn now just shredding through people's health bars. Assault on Battery going onto Lucian, and now Kazik still trying to jump in, but just being completely demolished by the Caitlyn. More damage coming through. This is a triple kill. Maybe she can go for the Penta. She's using her net to try and get forward. Flashing for the damage, but I don't think she'll be able to get that. Now Lux is trying to go behind the tower. Maybe they want to try and get the quarter. No, they don't. They're waiting for the minions to come so they can just try and end this game.
Right now, with 3 men down, the red team doesn't have too much of a defense. Shyvana very low there, taking down the enemy blue. Just getting whatever she can, but I don't know if they're actually going to be able to end this game right now, because they do have minions, but the death timers are really short. There's Lucian and Lux up. It would be very risky. So instead, blue team once again backs off, stays safe, farms a little bit more, spends a little bit more gold, draws out the game, just a couple more minutes before they finally decide to end it with the next big push.
Yeah, I think it's actually just a waiting game for now. Dragon is up in 30 seconds, but I don't think that really matters. They want to be focusing their attention to Baron, which has been warded by the red team, so maybe they can do something around that, but I don't think they have enough damage to be able to be any form of threat for the blue team.
And instead, everyone goes back to farming. You know, because farming's fun. Caitlyn is full build, by the way. She doesn't have a boots enchant yet. Or she could exchange her boots for a Zephyr. But instead, she's already upgraded a warding trinket, which you see rarely enough on an AD carry. 1706. 326 CS. It's just, it's not even funny. Dragon is up, guys. You can have another dragon if you want. So, speaking of which, the pings come down and they do move over Dragon.
Yeah, they are moving over. See if they want to be able to do anything. They're just treading down.
Blue team has 7 times as many kills as a red team.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just sunk in. That hurt.
28 to 4.
Now Shyvana ulting into the middle of the red team. She's taking so much damage from the culling. Not really. She's taking nothing from it. The ultimate just scratching onto Thresh. Damage still coming through Caitlyn, managing to all-block her way to continue to put lots of damage and chasing her way forward. Now they're just going to continue to put their focus onto the red team's base. Going to rush for that inhibitor. I think Leona and Kassadin could probably tank this for days. They're going to try and get that inhibitor.
Yeah,
and maybe go for the towers.
They said 28-4 isn't good enough yet. Let's go for 32-4, and now with the next big minion wave, 4 men still down on the side of the red team. Shyvana finally decides to be a man, tank one of the 2 Nexus towers.
Riftwalk coming in, Ace in the hole coming through, having a flash to her fountain, but that's not the kill for Caitlyn. Focusing onto the Nexus, that is GG for the red team. Very well played, Bloodwork, Kassadin, Leona, and actually very well played from the red team. Some good plays from Trundle and Thresh.
Yeah, this was sadly that one dragon fight early in the game that gave Caitlyn the triple kill. It was just exploited to the very last bit by the rest of the blue team, and nothing much was able to be done from the red team. They just stood back, let everything be taken from them, and the 1808 Caitlyn was just too much to deal with. So after that game, GG well played, and we'll be back soon. Take a short break and then see what games are there in the next round for us to watch.